Uh, Unfortunately, I accidentally stopped my video, so this will just be part two of part two. So I'm just gonna continue. I was, I think I'll just give Bill. Should I give him Black Whip? I mean, if you don't watch the anime, yes, I'll do that. I will do that. No, I can't do that. Anyway, Belle will still get it. I mean, Belle goes home and reads the book. He checks his status. His stats do go up a lot, and he gets magic. The magic is called a firebolt. God says he tells Belle to wait. Belle can't though. He goes in the dungeon and starts shooting off firebolt, firebolt, firebolt. He learns that he can also mix his one for all with his fireball, making it, extra deadly. Anyway, let's continue. Now Belle does still pass out, you know, to pass out as Ice is walking. You know, Ice now. Remember, this time Belle knocked Isis out. This time Belle knocked Isis out with the punch of one for all. So it's not the same as Isis saving Belle and Belle running away from her. It's the same as, you know. Anyway, Reveria asks Isis if she knew this boy. And Isis tells Reveria who he is. Now, you'd expect Reveria to get mad. Now, I guess it's just like a small thing. If you're a Danmichi fan, there's a small chance that you might not know of this. I was a fan of Danmichi for 2 years. I started watching Danmichi in 2018, but I didn't even know of this until 2020, this year. There's actually a sideshow of Danmichi called Sword. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon, Sword or Tora? Or just call it Danmichi, or just like search up Danmichi, Sword or Tora. Now, this is like a show. It's not like terrible. It's actually a licensed anime. It revolves around Ias and the Loki Familia. But if I really had to say if there was a main character, it would be Lafia, which is like an elf girl from the Familia who was a level 4 and likes Ias. It's really good. One of the best things is like I feel like Bill is a side character. Like he's just a character that we see every once in a while in that show, and it's actually really good. 13 or 12 episodes. There's an amazing plot. I mean, there's an amazing story too. I just like it. It shows you what Iris and her familiar were doing during the original. But if you don't remember, after the pub, Iris told Reveria about Belle. And she thinks that Belle didn't mean to knock her out. He was just scared for his life, and she knows what that feeling was. So Revelia leaves them alone. Aya starts to pet Belle's hair and stuff. Belle eventually wakes up saying "Mom." Now here's the thing I find interesting. Now we all know Belle is an orphan, so we haven't seen his parents. But Belle was an orphan at 5. So you think if you were orphaned at 5, you would still remember what your parents look like. Unless she didn't. I'm saying, if Ive looks a lot like his mom, then maybe there was something there. Like maybe Ive's his mom and him had the same mom. But that's probably unlikely, because again, I watched Danmichi Sword Orotora. Anyway, Belle rolls away out of scaredness and starts crying in the morning. Of course, he doesn't have that major crush on. He didn't get, but he's still good. I don't know how to explain it. Hashir checks the book that Belle was reading to see that it is like a grimoire. Speaking of grimoires, I'll be doing a What If Asta soon, so stay tuned for that. Probably post it the same day or tomorrow. Anyways, she sees the grimoire. She asks about how he knew of this, and it was just at the pub. They start freaking out, and Hessian wants to do something to the book. Belle returns the book and apologizes and stuff. Anyway, Belle is waiting for Lily as, that one dude comes up to him, telling him the stuff. Lily also gets pulled inside the bushes. But Lily walks out seeing those two talking. Lily asks what they were talking about, as Belle says nothing. Lily being a little, now threatened a little. Just as Ain, they go into the dungeon. 2 minutes later, Aina's there, wanting to do some maintenance / talk to Goddess Hestia, as she hears people, talking about Belle and stuff. She also sees Aias, thanks him for, she apologizes for what Belle did, and, Aias realizes that Belle is her, that she's the advisor of Belle. And Aias asks Aias, she asks Aias for a favor. Now, Belle still does have that wrist thing, even though he doesn't need it, but Anna still wanted to buy him it, even though he doesn't need it. Anyway, they go down to the lower floor, like floor 10. Pretty sure this was the floor with landmarks. Oh, with the landmarks on them. Landmarks on them, yes, like trees and stuff. They see some ogres. Belle starts to fight the ogres. He lets off a few, firebolts. Eventually, the ogres do start to overpower them. And Belle is starting to get a little overpowered by the ogres. Belle is, trying to back up. As he starts to see some things fall next to him. He notices that these are monster baits. They draw monsters to him. Belle's wondering what to do. Now I have to think. Now, Belle's wondering what to do. He's getting ready to put on his gauntlets because, he was mainly just fighting with a small sword. But he's getting ready the sword that, he's fighting with the sword that Lily gave him, just to show appreciation. But the monsters are starting to overpower him, so Belle, gets ready to put on his gauntlets. As 2 arrows shoot next to Belle, 2 arrows shoot next to Belle as they grab the gauntlets. Belle looks up to see Lily. He asks what Lily was doing. As Lily says, "Sorry, Master Belle, but I knew what you were up to." She starts to run as she says, "If you get a chance, escape." She starts running. She puts the bracelet gauntlets inside one of them inside each of her socks. Just as Belle's moving. Belle still has One for All. Belle with One for All throws a 100% blast, breaking his left arm. But most of the monsters are out of the way. Just as more monsters start to spawn, but someone's destroying them. As he says thank you, as he runs, dropping his thing. And if you know, this is Aias. Belle runs as he sees Lily. There's no use to talk about this part, but he sees Lily being attacked by monsters. Belle using 10% of One for All. No, Belle uses 50% of One for All. And she says Fireball, burning all of the monsters in one firebolt. And saves Lily. And that's where this part will be left off. Thank you. If you want, stay tuned for my What If Asta. Have a good day.